card decoded. This card is the imposter's card. This card shows two men in the picture. Says require action. This is like the cloning. You know, we did. If you go back and you look at the cloning card, cloning arrangers card on the channel. That card basically talks about cloning, and this right here is basically a depiction of cloning and mass wearing. You know what I'm saying? On this picture, you got the guy in the back. He look pretty cool, right? You know. Then you got this guy in the front. He looks like the same guy in the picture. And you can see around his neck, he's got like a mask because the neck is not the same color. He trying to, straighten up his tie. You got the star in the middle with the pyramid. You know what I'm saying? It tells you clearly, so, what that look like to you. You know what I mean? That's somebody perpetrating as an imposter, as a fraud. So that, this can be the same guy, but he got a mask on and he went and took the picture, so he's acting like the actual either, president, a candidate, a politician, or whatever. So you got these guys that wear these masks, and they perpetrate, people, and they're imposters. They're trying to just get the people to vote for the image that they see. But the person underneath is a totally different person. You know what I'm saying? So this card is a deep card, you know what I mean? When you look at it, the personality, playing in the personality of the person and changing your features to look like somebody else. And a lot of this goes on. You can go see people in movies who wear makeup, who wear fake faces and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Look at when Martin did the movie, and Tyler Perry did the movies, how they changed their face up. And, a lot of the people who change their face up, and you look at how, people do makeup on their face, and that lady will look one way, but she'll put makeup on her face and she'll look like a superstar. And then you wipe all that off her face, and then she look like a Power Ranger or something. You know what I'm saying? Or just don't look good. You know what I'm saying? Like look like a gremlin. You know what I mean? But they put that makeup on their face, and then they change them into another person. So, same thing. These people create masks, that look just like the person's face. You can go look at the video that Kanye did when he had all the celebrities, there with all those different, I don't know if that was wax people or whatever you want to call it, but all those people that look like real people, clone people, whatever you want to call it. Kanye did that in one of his videos where he had them laying all in the bed, and all of them was people. You know what I'm saying? And they had these, and they looked just like real people. Even if they were fake people, they looked like real people. So the same thing can happen, in politics. The same thing can happen, in these campaigns. So this card has been decoded that, anybody that's wearing these masks on their face to disguise themselves, to be somebody else, you know what I'm saying? They're imposters. You don't have to just wear a mask to be an imposter. You could be somebody trying to come to somebody else's land, a state, and play as the real sovereign of that land and be an imposter to that land, and that don't even be your native homeland. Same thing happened with colonization, right? So you look at colonization, you know, people came to indigenous land, excavated, and took all the wealth, and all those people eventually died off, right? Not all of them, but majority of them eventually died off, and then you have somebody else take over their land and then call themselves Americans. You know, so they're imposters, right? You know, I couldn't go to China, right? You know, I couldn't go to China and tell those people I'm Chinese. You know, I'm Moorish American, right? So if I go to China or Europe, I show up to Europe and I try to explain to the Europeans that I'm a European. They're going to look at me and tell that I'm not a European, right? And I'm trying to convince them, these people, and brainwash these people into believing that I'm a European. You know, I can only be what my ancestors are. You know, just like you have to be what your ancestors are. So they have people who don't necessarily wear masks, but they are imposters. Imposters to taking over lands and squatting on lands and calling themselves Americans when they're not real true birthright Americans. They're Americans that came over on, you know, on a promise to be Americans, not that they're born Americans. You got people who are born by bloodline that's Americans, and you have people who come over here and get underneath the name Americans. You know, but your bloodline is European. Your bloodline is Dutch or Scottish or whatever. You know, just like his bloodline is Moorish American, or his bloodline is Chinese bloodline, or the Russian bloodline. You know, each bloodline fits into its geographical location. So it will be a myth to say that Europeans are Americans because they're not tied to the birthright, as in geographical location, by bloodline and by ancestry. You know, so this card has been decoded as the imposter's card.